man hit his shoe inside the blade and then stepped on the high voltage line and repeatedly jumped horizontally. And soon the outer foreskin was cut open and the electrified copper wire was completely exposed. Then he went to the glass platform on the second floor and cut marks with the glass knife inside his shoe. Then he stole a billiard ball when no one was looking. At that moment, the traitor came to the scene. The companion immediately put ice mixed with anesthetics into the glass. When the waiter brought the glass to the traitor, he was about to add ice to the other side, but found that there was already a piece of it, which made the ignorant man a little bit confused. At this time, the cunning traitor told him to leave, and when he poured his own drink, he seemed to have discovered something. This immediately made his companion tense up. He was about to lose his chance, but fortunately his friend also came here and poured wine for him. This time, the traitor did not hesitate. He immediately picked up the glass and drank it down. Seeing that the other party has been tricked, the woman on the side of the sigh of relief and then quickly sent a signal to his companions. Then the man climbed up to the rooftop and threw the billiard ball from the sky, hitting the scratches with precision. The falling glass shards smashed the fish tank below, and the water inside gushed out, quickly covering the broken high-voltage line. The whole venue was in chaos. At this time the traitor saw the situation and wanted to escape, but he just stretched out his right leg to water that was charged with electricity, which made him immobile for a moment. Then he stumbled and fell to the ground under the effect of anesthesia, and the next moment he was sent to his death by tens of thousands of volts. The two killers left the scene. The doctor was even worse. When she got back to the hospital, she saw that the room was filled with enemy soldiers. Looking around, she noticed a colleague sterilizing needles, which gave her a plan. She then took a bottle of ether and, seeing that her colleague's glasses were covered in vapor, she pretended to help him and handed him the ether. The man did not think twice and mistook the ether for distilled water and poured it into the pressure cooker. In the meantime, the woman rushed out of the clinic, reversed the direction of the wooden box full of alcohol, and then pulled a tool cart and placed it on the opposite side of the alcohol, so that the aisle would be extremely narrow. Then she stuck a couple of sugar cubes in the doorway and adjusted the bracket behind the door so that one end was facing the window. By this time, the enemy was drifting off to sleep as the ether evaporated. Obviously the time was ripe, so the woman hurriedly squatted down and poured distilled water when no one was around. The water flowed along the corners of the wall and quickly reached the sugar cube, which was completely soaked and melted in the next second. The steel door without support quickly rebounded and knocked down the bracket behind the door, which in turn smashed the glass and overturned the pressure cooker inside the house. The sudden situation made the enemy troops a bit confused, but the next second, came out of the pressure cooker as if they were arrows, and the enemy soldiers were looking for teeth and ran out of the dangerous room. Unbeknownst to them, the fun had just begun, because at first the woman adjusted the position of the wooden box so that the whole corridor became very narrow. In addition to inhaling a large amount of ether, this group of enemy soldiers' slow reaction, they just ran out of the accidentally knocked over the side of the alcohol, and the only passageway was blocked by a steel door. The whole scene was in chaos. At this moment, the ghost officer sensed something was wrong. He hurriedly fired to calm the chaos and then crouched down to smell the smell of alcohol. And then he immediately instructed his men not to accidentally shoot. But as soon as he finished speaking, an enemy soldier sent a flame, not realizing that the kerosene lamp he was carrying had already been tampered with. It turned out that the woman had been in the switchboard room from the beginning. She had unplugged the kerosene lamp, then pulled down the main power switch and doused it with concentrated salt water. When the enemy came over to check, he had just pulled the switch and suddenly there was a flash of sparks and lightning and the hospital's wiring was completely damaged. So he came over with a kerosene lamp to report, and the ghost officer saw the situation suddenly flaxen frozen before he could order the retreat. Kerosene lamp suddenly off the ring fell to the ground. The entire aisle instantly burst into flames and the enemy soldiers were all cremated on the spot, and the woman left the hospital with her hands in her pockets. This is the end of the movie. This story tells us not to mess with women who are good at math and science.